Hey, let's talk a little baseball. We're 6 weeks in. How seriously do you take what happens to the first 6 weeks of a 162-game baseball season?
Well, I think, the greatest part about baseball is that every out matters. You can go back and talk about how if we only made this play or had this win back in April, it would have made a difference, in October. So it does matter. However, baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. And that cliche matters because you have to be able to be good for a long period of time. And some of the success that we're seeing early could just be a flash in the pan, but I think what you have to look for are, again, I'm a chemistry guy. You have to look for certain parts, how did they win? How are they winning? What are the reasons why they're winning? You look at, Homer, you look at the Yankees, Aaron Judge hits a big walk-off home run. Things like that will carry farther than one game because that's a confidence builder. That's a clubhouse builder. Now your big dog has a game-winning home run, and that makes everybody in that clubhouse feel better. So looking at things like that, that makes a team for real. So I think you have to look at that.
On the other hand, you hit the halfway mark. 2 recent World Series champions in Washington and Atlanta were below 500 halfway through the season and wound up winning the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange. Granted, it's a marathon more than it is a sprint. I do find it funny how baseball purists especially, they won't start talking about what records is probably towards the end of the playoffs. Well, if they would have won this game in October, if they would have won this game those games count the same. Yeah. They're all weighed the same, right? Like you're 3 games out come playoff time. Those 3 games could be made up in April and May and June. I will say this, the American League East right now is unbelievably exciting, and it sucks because it's getting swallowed up by the NHL playoffs and the NBA playoffs, which I've also been watching. But between the Yankees, between what's going on with the Blue Jays, right? Between what the heck is going on with the Red Sox right now, plus the rivalries that kind of come from all the fandoms in Western New York, I mean, it's a blast.
It was unnecessary to bring up the Boston team, I think.
Well, no, I just wanted to make sure you knew what was going on with Boston right now.
I think I have a clue. So New York and New York, the Mets and the Yankees are both, they were the first 2 teams to 20 wins this year. Which team do you like better, Greg?
Oh, man. I gotta lean towards the Mets just because you have to go towards pitching. And when you have, the couple guys that they have, those studs at the top of the lineup with DeGrom and Scherzer, and then you look at this young guy, with McGill and what he's doing, and, we talked about the fact is it a flash in the pan? He's throwing 98 miles an hour. His slider is devastating. He's worked on adjusting his slider, brought it down, not to get too technical, but he's lowered his arm slot a little bit, which makes the slider a little bit more sweep. It may not have as much depth, but it gives it time to break more because of the angles, and it's certainly playing well for him.
I love that over 10 years, Pat, that we haven't heard anyone say lower the arm slot. In 10 years.
I've been saying that when you leave every week, man, every week.
As advice?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately for the Yankees, they have a couple of the best teams in baseball right now in their own division and in the American League. So we'll see what happens, as the season progresses. The Yankees are, Bronx Bombers. They win with the long ball. They win with hitting, and hitting can go into a slump. So if that happens, a guy gets hurt, or a guy or two gets hurt, injuries play a role.
Greg, of course, was a pitcher.